The prophets of Allah walked this earth as real human beings, tested, heartbroken, patient, and deeply loved by God. Their stories are not distant history. They are mirrors held up to your own life, right now. Ibrahim's unwavering trust in the fire. Imagine being thrown into a blazing fire for refusing to worship idols. Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, faced exactly that. Yet his response was not panic, it was complete reliance on Allah. The Qur'an tells us Allah commanded the fire, be cool and safe for Ibrahim. That single divine word turned destruction into peace. The practical takeaway for you is profound. When you feel surrounded by trials that seem ready to consume you, remember that Allah can command any force in creation to stand down. Your trust in Him is never wasted. Yunus calls out from the darkness. Prophet Yunus, peace be upon him, found himself inside a whale, in the depths of a dark ocean, beneath the waves of night. No place on earth could be more isolated. Yet from that absolute darkness, he called, there is no deity except you, exalted are you. Indeed, I have been of the wrongdoers. The Qur'an says Allah responded and saved him. The scholars note this dua is a key of relief, acknowledge Allah's perfection, acknowledge your own shortcoming, and call. No darkness is too thick, no depth too far, for that call to reach him. Ayyub's patient endurance through illness. Prophet Ayyub, peace be upon him, suffered prolonged illness and loss for years, yet he never abandoned gratitude or prayer. His supplication was breathtakingly brief, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful. He did not complain to people, he turned quietly to Allah. And Allah responded, restoring his health and blessing him abundantly. The takeaway here is that patience is not silence, it is choosing Allah as your first audience when you are in pain. Short, sincere words spoken toward heaven carry enormous weight. Musa prays for ease before speaking. When Allah assigned Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, the enormous task of confronting Pharaoh, Musa's first response was not pride, it was vulnerability. He asked Allah, my Lord, expand for me my breast, and ease for me my task, and untie the knot from my tongue that they may understand my speech. He asked for inner peace before outer success. This teaches you something beautiful. Before any difficult conversation, presentation, or challenge, turn to Allah first and ask not just for the result, but for the ease, the clarity, and the calm to face it well. Zakariyya's quiet prayer for an heir. Prophet Zakariyya, peace be upon him, was elderly and his wife was unable to bear children, yet he turned to Allah in a whispered, private prayer, asking for a righteous heir. The Qur'an describes his call as quiet, intimate, full of hope. Allah granted him Yahya, peace be upon him, a prophet unlike any before. The lesson here is that age, circumstance, and apparent impossibility are not barriers to Allah's generosity. When you pray privately, sincerely, and without despair, you are praying in the tradition of a prophet. Never underestimate a heartfelt whisper directed to Allah. Yusuf forgives from a position of power. Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, was betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a well, sold into slavery, and imprisoned unjustly, yet when he stood before his brothers in Egypt as a powerful official, his first act was forgiveness. He said, no blame will there be upon you today. Allah will forgive you. He had every worldly reason to take revenge, and he chose mercy instead. The Qur'an calls his story, the best of stories, Quran 12:3. The takeaway, true strength is not holding a grudge when you finally have the power to act on it. Sulayman's gratitude for every blessing. Prophet Sulayman, peace be upon him, was given a kingdom unlike any before or after, control over the wind, understanding of the language of birds, and enormous wealth. Yet the Qur'an records him saying, my Lord, enable me to be grateful for your favor which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and to do righteousness of which you approve. At the height of his power, his instinct was gratitude, not pride. The takeaway for you, the greater the blessing you receive, the greater the need to anchor yourself in thankfulness before it becomes a distraction. Maryam's steadfastness under impossible scrutiny. Maryam, peace be upon her, is the only woman mentioned by name in the Quran. She faced one of the most socially devastating situations imaginable, returning to her people with a newborn, alone. Yet Allah guided her to point to the infant Isa, peace be upon him, letting the miracle speak. The Quran describes her as one who guarded her chastity, and was chosen above all women, Quran 3:42. Her example teaches you that when the truth is on your side and you have placed your trust in Allah, you do not always need to defend yourself. Let Allah be your witness. Isa's gentle wisdom and reliance on Allah. Prophet Isa, peace be upon him, healed the blind and the sick, raised the dead, all by Allah's permission. The Quran records him consistently saying, by Allah's permission, with every miracle, never claiming the power as his own. He described himself as a servant of Allah even as an infant in the cradle, Quran 19:30. This consistent humility in the face of extraordinary ability is one of the most moving qualities in the Quranic portrait of any prophet. The takeaway: whatever gifts, talents, or influence you carry, trace them all back openly to Allah. That is the prophetic way. Muhammad's love and concern for you. Of all the moments in prophetic history, this one may move you most. On the Day of Judgment, when every prophet is consumed with concern for themselves, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, will be saying, my ummah, my nation, my nation. This is recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari. He prayed for you. He wept for you. The Quran describes him as deeply concerned for you, and to the believers he is kind and merciful, Quran 9:128. The takeaway: you are loved by a man who never met you but never stopped interceding for you. Live in a way that honors that love. Which of these moments touched your heart the most? Let us know below. If these stories reminded you why faith matters, subscribe so we can keep exploring together, one beautiful truth at a time.